All right, welcome to the video. So this is going to be a Bitcoin Cash technical analysis video and also a price prediction video. I do hold some Bitcoin Cash, so this is going to be for anyone who wants to see where price is likely going to go in the coming weeks to the coming couple months. I think we're going to be there very quickly. But I'm going to do this purely from a technical standpoint. All right. So I'm not going to be looking at the DOM or the depth of market, looking at like liquidation levels and things like that. This is purely technical analysis from the chart. All right. Starting out, I am on the 12-month chart. All right. So each candle representing 1 year. I'm going to start here and then I'm going to work my way down and you'll see where I'm going with this. Okay. Here's one thing that you guys got to understand. Every single financial market, the candlestick chart is extremely algorithmic, okay? What I mean by that is anything, any time frame, the daily and above, tends to work very similar to every other time frame above it, okay? So here's what I mean. Take a look at this current candle, right? Do you see how this candle took out the range high of the previous candle? Okay, so what I mean by that is if you take the range of 2023's candle for Bitcoin Cash, right, take the absolute high, absolute low, usually the very next candle will either take out the high, low, or both. In this case, 2024 has taken out the high of 2023, okay? And if you look back to this candle, this high in 2022 was 452.01 and the low was 87.21, okay? But look what happened. If I just put the range high here and the range low here, we didn't actually take out the high or low in 2023, okay? This is considered an inside bar. What I'm trying to say is inside bars are extremely rare on time frames from the daily and anything above. All right. And this is extremely important to understand as I go through this technical analysis, because you will see just how clear it is that Bitcoin Cash is likely to smash through $718 and then move straight to 1,035 and then to 1640. And I'm going to show you exactly how it's going to happen. Okay. Right here, when you have an inside bar that's closed and confirmed, the very next candle is even more likely to exceed the previous candle's high or low. And you can see what happened in 2024, where we took out 2023 and 2022's high. All right. That's a base premise of what I'm going to explain. And then when I get into the liquidity, you'll see exactly how this is happening. All right. So what's happening right now on Bitcoin Cash? Okay. Right now, we've already taken out the high of 2023 and 2022. We have not taken out the high of 2021, which is 1640 even, okay? But there's some levels you need to watch for before that. The first one is the midpoint between this high and the low of this wick, okay? And I'm just going to drag that out as a reference as we go down lower time frames, okay? So that midpoint is around like 1,032 and some change, right around there, okay? I'm going to half this time frame by going to the 6 month. And I'm going to use the exact same premise that I used on the yearly, okay? So remember, high time frames usually take out the previous candle's range high, low, or both, okay? So again, right here, this is the 6 month candle that started in July of this year. And you can see how we have not taken the previous candle's low. Instead, when this candle opened, right, we opened just where the previous candle closed. Instead of sweeping this previous candle's low, we just came down, price moved back above the opening price, and we are now dragging liquidity towards what? Previous candle's high. So if I mark out this level, this price point is 718.87 according to this data feed. And just to be sure which one it is, this is from Bitstamp, okay? So 718.87 is the target for the 6-month chart. All right. Now I'm going to half this chart again, and this is where things get really interesting. So if I go down to the 3-month, now we can kind of see what that actually looks like. Okay. So this high here is that 718.87 just seen on the 3-month chart. But now we have some other interesting things here happening. If you look right here, where these two lines extend, this is what's known as the ICT fair value gap. Okay. And I want you to just take a look at the behavior of price. This gap right here was formed on the close of April's candle from this year. The very next quarter, price reaches into this imbalance or fair value gap. I call them imbalances and fair value gaps synonymously. So if you hear either of those terms, it's the same thing. Okay. But you can see this candle right here, this doji looking candle, reaches into this gap. And then the very next candle, which is our current quarter, price is delivering outside away from this area. Okay. So we are leaving this area of internal liquidity and we are seeking external liquidity, which is again above this 718 level. Okay. So what I call this is a internal to external setup. And what you're seeing happen right now is extremely bullish. Okay. You have the formation of a gap, the test of that gap, and then the respect of that gap, right? Because we're already more than halfway to the target of 718. So if I draw a fib, just showing the halfway point, right? This would be 50%. And you can see how much further above 50% we are to the target. I'd say this is like going on 55, 58% of the way to this 718.87 level. Now, let's head down to the monthly. So heading down to the monthly, you'll see something else is very, very, very interesting. We also have a monthly gap that's overlapping our 3-month gap. Okay, and this is very key. Take a look at this. This monthly gap was formed in April, and look at how many times it was tested. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Now, a lot of people may think, okay, if you have a gap like this that's been tested 7 times, it's weak, it's no good, there's no promise it's going to get to the target. But the reason this was tested 7 times is because if you refer back to the 3-month, we had a full 3-month quarter testing its gap. Okay, so this is extremely normal when you see something like this happening on a lower time frame. Here's what's important. Take a look at this. Remembering what I just said in the beginning of this video, look at how this candle's low is taken out by the next candle. This candle's low is taken out by the next candle. This candle's low is taken out by this candle. This candle's low is taken out by the next candle. But look what happens here. This candle's low is not taken out by this small doji here. Okay. And we got a candle closure inside of our monthly key level. So what did we form right here? We formed a swing low inside of a key level. So let me just draw that out. So right here, this low into a lower low into a lesser low is a swing low on the monthly chart. And look at this, the very next candle, instead of taking out the low, it takes out the high. And then the next candle, which was November, we just had November, it took out the high of the previous candle, the high of August, the high of July, the high of June, and the high of May. Okay, why is this happening? It's because breakout traders and traders in general are focused on the highs and lows because that's where liquidity lies, right? A lot of methodologies say to buy on the breakout of a high or to sell on the breakout of a low. You also have traders who are selling from these areas, right? You have traders who are selling from highs and buying from lows. So there's liquidity that sits above old highs and below old lows. What I'm showing you guys is how to see that liquidity without using any type of depth of market, okay? Here's what's also really interesting. November closed bullish outside of our monthly key level. So when you're looking at an internal to external setup, when price is supported by the monthly imbalance, your external liquidity, which is what led you into that gap, right? This is the high that led us into this monthly level. This becomes your target, okay? Why? Because think about it. At one point, price was 718.87. All right, if I click on this line, you can see it right there on the right in blue. 718.87. In order to get from here, in order to get from 718.87 down here, price had to sell off. You understand? Price had to go lower. So there are sellers in that area, okay? And the people who are selling, right, hedged funds, institutions, right, as many of you guys who want Bitcoin Cash to go up, there's just as many, if not more, who want it to go down, okay? So everybody who is selling up here, okay, their orders sit like this. Their stop losses sit above that swing high. And they're just enjoying the profits, right? They're enjoying the profits. These big entities don't necessarily cut their positions all because they make a huge amount. A lot of them are in position-sized bets, all right? They are looking to hold for the long term. So they're not going to exit all because they see some bullish price action, all right? A lot of them are really set and forget. But what you need to understand is that there is liquidity in the form of stop losses that sit above these swing highs, okay? So now price is leaving this area of inefficiency, right? It was once inefficient, now it is inefficient because we have come down into this area. And now price is being supported by this area, okay? We are now gunning for the liquidity that still sits above this high, all right? What's gonna happen when price gets up here? Well, as price approaches this level and we go through it, right? Because what you have to understand is the liquidity is on the other side of this high. Think about when you take a position. When you trade, your stop loss is normally going above or below some type of psychological level. That psychological level is this high in this instance, okay? So if I just remove all of these position tools, you have to understand that the liquidity sits above this high. It's not just below it. You want to see price go above it. What that's going to do is going to do two things. Breakout traders who had been watching this high are going to pile in long. Guess what? That's going to push the price higher. But it's also going to trigger the stop losses of the people who are shorting, okay? So if you're selling, the only way you get out of the market is with a buy order. It's always the opposite. Guess what? That's going to push the price even higher. But what you have to understand is, yes, you have two parties who are pushing the price higher. You're also still going to have people who take profits at 718.87. So it's going to be normal to see some selling come in, completely normal. But what's important to understand is that this is a magnet right now, especially when you have the support from this monthly level. Everything screams buy, all right? This is not financial advice. But if you want to look at a coin that is currently priced at 545.62 at the time of this video, and it's on its way, I'm talking magnet, to 718.87, and it will go through it. It has to go through it in order to hit the liquidity. This is that coin, okay? It's not a huge amount of gains, but for those of you who hold Bitcoin Cash, this is really good news for your coin. Now, after we break that level, what's next? If I just zoom out, you have that half point of the wick, which sits right there. This was the wick from the monthly chart, and it sits at 1,035. That's going to be the next area. From there, you're looking at about a 43% increase. After that level has been hit, sure, there's going to be more selling that comes in, but the next level is to take out the high of that wick, which is at 1640, and that's another 60%, around 60% from the half point of that wick, okay? That is what I'm looking for Bitcoin Cash to do, all right? Now, I'm just going to show you what the weekly chart is doing, because the weekly is also confirming this move. So if we drop down, take a look at this, right? So we have, we can remove this monthly level here. Here's our 3-month level, aka the 6-month swing high that has yet to be hit. But look at this. You see this fair value gap right here from the weekly? You see how it stayed open? This is considered a breakaway gap, all right? And the reason why this is good for price is because price is confirming that it has the liquidity to push up and go after the traders above this high. It does not need to come down and hit this, because if you just take a look at previous price action, everything is already balanced. This is what I mean. You have sellers here, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, and then buyers here. And then it just continues higher. So what you're looking at right here is this chop. This area is extremely balanced. Everybody's getting their orders filled on the buy side and the sell side. There is no inefficiency in this area from 422 down to 287. Everybody's happy, okay? So price does not need to come back down here and test this area like it did on the 3-month chart here, right? You see how price came down and had to test this gap right here? It doesn't need to do that on the weekly time frame because everything is already in sync. This further confirms to me that price is going straight after 718.87, and it's got to go through it to hit those orders and activate. And this is where people are going to start saying, oh man, Bitcoin Cash is back and everything. But this has been formed since this quarter, right? And like I said, that's where I see it going, okay? Again, after breaking above this high, you want to bring your attention to 1,035, all right? So if you have a TradingView account, I recommend putting these levels on your chart and make alerts, okay? Just add an alert at 718.87, 1,035, and then 1640, okay? After those levels are hit, I will likely do an update, but here is how you can invalidate this. The only way this pattern can be invalidated is if you go back out to the 3-month. Price has to come all the way back down and take out this swing low from July when this quarter started. It has to not only take it out, but it has to go lower and push price beyond whatever that swing low is that comes in, okay? This is extremely unlikely to happen, all right? There's just too many things that are stacked for bulls, but a black swan event can do it, right? So when I say black swan, something like Trump not even making it into the office would be enough to invalidate this pattern. But that's about what it would take in order to invalidate this setup. Be patient with Bitcoin Cash. It does not move as hard as a lot of the other altcoins when Bitcoin moves. But when it does move, it moves hard, right? As you guys can see, today we were at like 511 and now we're at 552, okay? Be patient. It's going to get up here. As of right now, everything is green lit for Bitcoin Cash to go above 718. All right. As price develops, I'll send out another update. But other than that, hope you enjoyed this analysis, and I'll be seeing you soon.